So the main idea or concept behind this was this reaction diffusion pattern, um, which I was introduced to, I don't know, maybe like 6 months back when I started like looking into Houdini or Side Effects Houdini, which is a 3D application, 3D software. And I stumbled upon some weird, like generative, like 3D art using these patterns. And I was like, whoa, that's wicked cool. Looks like coral. Come to find out, it basically is coral. I don't know how it works. Some genius figured it out, not me. But actually, this was not created in Houdini. This was created all in Photoshop, and it's actually pretty simple to do. Um, there are a few tutorials for making the patterns that you can find online. This is just something cool that I found, and this is, this stuff's all done in Photoshop. So basically, what you're doing is creating an action in Photoshop that keeps repeating itself over and over again, and it causes these weird patterns to form. So, I mean, you can look it up how the process works and how to build the Photoshop action. A couple resources you can use is Intagma, which I don't know how they pronounce their name, but I think it's Intagma. Whatever, sounds cool to me. Um, and they go into how to do it in a 3D application, which is Houdini. But at the beginning of the tutorial, he'll show you how to do it in Photoshop. Another one you can do is through Skybase, whatever. Like, just go on there, figure out how they figured it out. I mean, I didn't know how to do this. I just found out how to do it by good old fashioned Googling. I mean, that's how you basically can learn anything on the internet. Just Google it. Don't ask people questions. Just say, hey, Google, how do I do this? And it will tell you. That's basically how I've learned to do all my art is through Google, watching tutorials. Um, Anyone can do it, in my opinion. You just have to be patient, put the time and effort into doing it, and eventually you'll get good at it, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, he'll go into detail of how to create these Photoshop actions. Whatever. I created a Photoshop actions. Oh yeah, right here. Okay. So basically how this works is you throw down some, like black dots or whatever, just random. And you create the Photoshop action, which is just a series of blurs, like Gaussian blurs set at different radii. Um, and you run it over and over again in a series, and it builds the pattern. So you hit this play button here on your action. So you hit it once, does that. Keep hitting it. I mean, you'll start to note. I mean, it takes a while. You got to click it like 400 times. I don't even know how many times. Shitload. Yeah, just keep clicking it. And I mean, you can see right now that it's subtly changing, but the more effort, time, whatever, patience that you have, the cooler it's going to look. If you're going to like give up after 2 seconds and say this sucks, you're not going to get anywhere. So yeah, just fucking keep clicking it. And yeah, you see, making some pretty dope stuff here. Yeah, I could just do this for hours. It's so cool. Alright, so yeah, whatever. Say you did that a billion fucking times, you'd end up getting a pretty dope pattern. So yeah, so you end up getting these here. This one I just like blew up. Hold up. My computer's a fucking mess. This used to be everything on my desktop, but I just labeled it as so much shit because there's so much shit. A good way to, like, say you've simulated that reaction diffusion system once and you're like, all right, this is cool, but I need more of it and I need them to be smaller. Well, you don't want to like sit there for, because you literally have to click that thing so many fucking times, like just constantly like clicking it, just to simulate the thing. there's a really quick way to get around that. So let's get rid of that. And we have this reaction diffusion. So this would be like one of the images right here that you created with your Photoshop action. And I have to find it under so much shit once again. And I have them under a folder titled Hannah KL or KI. Just like another Instagrammer. I thought she'd think these were cool, like based on the art that she makes. I was like, yo, you might find these useful, but I don't think she ever used them. She's probably like, nah, these are lame as shit. All right, so there we go. We got it in Photoshop. So how can we get this pattern smaller, more of it quickly? I mean, it just looks dope, like over the face. Like I could just leave that there, post that, and be like, oh, that's pretty cool. All right, so we're gonna use a content aware fill. But first we're going to duplicate this like multiple times. So you just pull that over there and flip it. Actually, you don't really need to flip it, but I'm going to flip it. Transform, horizontal. So now it's like a mirror image of itself. And then we'll duplicate those two layers and flip those vertically. Transform, flip vertically. So now we got another series of mirrored images, and then we're going to merge these together so it becomes one single image. I mean, pretty easy concept to understand there. I don't know why I even said that. Alright, so then we're going to use a content aware fill. So those lines, like where the, like that, where we connected the images together, look pretty shitty. I don't like the fact that it's like mirrored. Like I want it to be like one individual pattern. So for that, we can use the content aware fill, which I don't know how Photoshop figured out how to do this, but it's going to somehow figure out what's going on around it and fill the image with a pattern that works. So if you just click fill and change up here under your contents tab, you got foreground, background, blah, blah, content aware. You click that, like, where did I, all right, so watch over here, this area, the left side. When I click OK, boom, pretty sick, right? So we're just going to do that a bunch of times to get rid of the lines and kind of mix the pattern up a little bit. Yeah, so shit like this you just figure out by messing around with the software, or like someone will bring it up in a tutorial like I'm doing right now, and then you'll be like, oh shit, I'm going to use that all the time. So yeah, so now we got the content aware fill, works pretty good, looks sick, whatever. So when I'm working in Photoshop, I like to use like different textures and figure out how to place them on like female models or whatever I'm working on. Like now I'm into statues. I don't know how long this phase is going to go for, maybe a week, maybe a couple days, but I want to get this pattern onto the model. So you can just use like multiply, pretty effective. So instantly, you got the pattern. And right now it's still too big, so I would want to get it to around this size. So when I throw this on multiply, it looks way better. Yeah, like 100 times better. So another thing I did in this image was I made different reaction diffusion patterns and placed them in different areas. Like the collar, you have a different pattern, and this part of the bust, you have a different pattern. The base of the statue, you got a different pattern, and the veil, you have a different pattern. So, and for all that, I use the pen tool. A lot of people, like when I release those little videos of like me doing shit really fast, like the little progress videos, people are like, dude, why don't you use fucking quick selection? Oh, that fucking pisses me off so bad because it's just like, why don't you be a lazy piece of shit and have a bunch of shitty edges on your art? So, um, well, let me see if I can give a good example of this. Sorry to like sound like a whatever, but yeah, put time and effort into your art if you want it to look good. Don't take the easy route and quick select your edges because they're not gonna come out good. So how can I give a good example of this? Like a tree maybe. It's already in PNG form because somebody took time and effort to cut it out. Look at that one is too. So I mean, I'm sure there's like a good way to use the quick selection tool, but I feel like every time I've used it, I end up having some type of artifact that is just like, I don't know, I'm just not happy with. Like one edge won't be perfect, or there'll be like a couple like weird holes in my images or something. I don't know. Is this, when am I gonna find like, yeah, they're all PNGs. I don't know. Should I give an example of this? I don't know. Like, how much time am I gonna have on wherever I upload this shit to? Let's see. Let's just go into here. Probably should have planned this out better instead of just being like, "Yo, I'm gonna make a tutorial today." I don't even know what the fuck it is. All right, yeah, let's use this. This is a piece that I found. Yeah, so a lot of people are like, where do you find, here's another example. Did I already talk about this? Where to find your images? A lot of people are like, ask me where do I get my images from? Adobe Stock. Super effective. Way cheaper than Shutterstock or any other stock website that I've found. I think I pay like $30 a month and I get 15 images a month. Some months I don't even use Photoshop, so these images just pile up. Like recently I just had like 40 images to use. So I started like downloading a bunch of shit. Let's see. So you can just pull this in here and we'll try and use the quick selection tool on this. So I need to isolate this head from the background. So quick selection has effectively gotten the gold, effectively gotten that edge, effectively gotten, it's doing pretty good actually. Let's see how it does though. Wow, this is a terrible example. Damn, yo, quick selection. Maybe I'll start using this shit more. Alright, no, look at that. It looks like shit. You can't be serious. So, yeah, the edges look horrendous. So I think you can turn on like smart radius, use that to like adjust your edges better. I mean, even so, they're not smooth. They look terrible. I mean, if you want to use quick selection, go for it. I don't think it's a good idea in my opinion. Unless somebody can show me how to use it effectively and change my mind, I'll become a quick selection believer. But at this moment, I am not. So yeah, use the pen tool. Every time you're gonna cut something out from the background because you have 155 billion bajillion times more control. Like you can select exactly what's getting cut out, and the more you use it, the better you get. Like right now, I'm just going really slow, but I mean, these edges will look, you don't have to be perfect, and still the edges will look smooth. So let's just cut this piece out. I don't know what rasterized layer means. Anybody want to explain that to me? Yeah, but I mean, that's just 10 times smoother, right? All right, back to what I was talking about before, which I don't even remember. All right, so I think it was this, multiplying the pattern. So yeah, I use the pen tool to cut out different pieces, like the veil. So if we go into here, see what, probably a bunch of stuff in. All right, let's see. So yeah, so this section here, use the pen tool, cut out this, place it on there, use multiply. Again, different pattern, different spot. There's another one for the base, veil. I would think I was going to put a nebula in her face at one point. I mean, that looks pretty cool, right? So yeah, and then with like the face cut, pen tool again, and a good thing to look for when you're cutting out faces is cheekbones, jaw lines, etc. Um, just follow. I mean, this one has a really good outline. Like the shadow can tell you exactly where to cut. And by the way, this tutorial is just to like show you how I do things. Don't be Slime Sunday. I mean, I have trouble with that every day. Like I see something cool that somebody made, and I'm like, oh shit, I want to make that. For the most part, I try to do my own thing. Sometimes I get like so inspired by something that I have to recreate it. And when I do that, I give people credit, but still, I'm, like I'm disgusted with myself that I've, kind of got inspiration. I guess inspiration. Just don't copy. Just figure out how to do something on your own that you think is cool. And that's what everyone should do, including myself. So, yeah. Side note. Is there much left for me to talk about? Like, I don't really think so. I think I basically covered it. Covered it all. So yeah, you get that. Turn on all your layers. All right, I guess I can talk about the noise here because that's like is like pretty important. So let's just put a regular black background in here. What the? I must have some. Yeah, that was the issue. There we go. And then let's see where the noise is. Somewhere. All right, there we go. So yeah, that I don't like just plain black. It looks I mean, sometimes it can look good, but um, I think noise is like super cool, so I use it a lot. So I have that. I'm gonna fill it. I have a black background. Now I'm over the top of all of my layers. I'm gonna throw in another black background, and then I'm just gonna go in here and add some noise. So you got choices here: monochromatic, which is just like black and white noise, or these Gaussian, however the hell you say it, is usually like more intense noise. And then you got the uniform, which I use a lot. So yeah, just like boost it up somewhere around there, and then you can throw it on this layer on lighten, and it just looks sick. I mean, and then you just kind of adjust it to where you think, where you want it. I don't know, it just gives a nice vibe to the overall image. And the other part of the image I think I had was like I'm adding so many layers here. Edit, fill. Let's just. So when I'm picking colors, I usually just go to like this color overlay section because you don't have to keep hitting fill. You can find your colors and be like, boom, that looks good, whatever. So yeah, the other part of the image was just, splitting the screen, which was just trial and error. Yeah. I mean, this in itself took I don't know, maybe like 2.5 to 3 hours, like a lot of screw ups of like what the overall concept was going to be. I mean, I had the idea of using the reaction diffusion on a statue in my head already. It was just a matter of like, what can I do to make this look cool? I didn't have the face cut out at first, I don't think. I think I had like her. I was originally going to put the reaction diffusion pattern just on her face, leave everything else. And I was like, nah, it looks stupid. Then I think at one point I was like chopping her eyes out and like changing the colors. So it was just a lot of trial and error before I got to a point where I was satisfied with the final outcome. Um, like these little circle things, like I don't know if those were necessary or not. Like I moved them around probably hundreds of times, and I know that in like 3 weeks, I'm gonna go back to the image and be like, yeah. So I know in like 3 weeks, I'm gonna go back to the image and be like, those were fucking retarded. And then yeah, so I'm actually like thinking now like it looks way better without them. I don't know. I'll probably save it. Yeah. Another thing, like save your shit. I don't save any of my stuff. I don't know why. And then like, people will want to use it as like an album cover and something, and I'll be like, yeah. I don't know where that one went. I mean, recently, like within the last year, I've been saving everything. So anything previously year ago, I don't have anymore. Uh, what else? Anything else I can explain? If you're watching this now, yeah, I'm gonna be releasing this soon. I didn't mean to click on it, but because I don't label my shit. This was supposed to be used uh for a musician. I'm not gonna say names, but didn't like it, so now it's mine, and I'll post it at some point. This one sucked. I deleted it already. This one was for Cream. This is just all the shit that I'm working on right now. More stuff. All right, I think that's enough. Like, I think I gave you enough information where you can figure out how I made that. Peace.